Hey designer, Alex here, welcome to the channel, and in this video we are going to explore how we can design a hotel booking app for the iPhone. We are going to design two screens, a home screen, and then later on we are going to expand to hotel page screen where the users can explore all of the details about that particular hotel, where they can book the room and so on. We are going to start with a paper wireframe and then move on from that paper wireframe to Adobe Xd, where we are going to finish the design. If you would like to see this design animated and taking one step further in Adobe Xd, let me know and I will create that in a later tutorial. But for now, sit back, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and enjoy this tutorial. Alright, so let's start with our wireframe, and we are going to create a mobile wireframe for hotel booking app. It's going to be a simple two-screen process, and later screens are going to be added down the line in the project. So let's start by creating a home screen. I'm just going to draw a nice big rectangle like this. And right here on the left, I'm going to create a menu icon, like so. And right here on the right, I'm going to create an avatar image placeholder like this. Then below here, maybe I can use something like H1, and below there maybe something like H2, maybe hello, and let's find you a hotel or something like that. Then below that, maybe I can include a search field like so, and perhaps I can even type in right here, so search. And right here we are going to have some kind of refinement icon, so we are going to have filters inside, so user can jump inside and then sort through different filters and then choose whichever settings they feel are necessary for their particular search. Below that we're going to have recommended hotels, and we're going to have a scrolling section of images, and inside of those images, let's say that we're going to include a price right here, so let's say 150 a night or something like that. And then below that, maybe we can have a 5-star rating or 4-star rating or whatever of that sort, and maybe these cards can be with rounded edges, so something like this. And rounding of the edges is always a great thing to explore inside of the XD when you're just getting started with the overall design process. So we're going to include an image right here. I'm just going to indicate that this is the image, and I'm going to include one more right here just to indicate that it goes off the page. I like to include my wireframes as fast as possible so I can move on to the production process inside of Adobe Xd. So below that, maybe we can include something like popular hotels with exactly the same section, so we can have two images with price right here, with rating right here, images inside, hotel name, and here we're going to include location. And we're going to have one more right here, so hotel name, location. As you can see, I'm just scribbling right here because this section is repeating itself. Below that, let's start by including, for example, reviews. So let's say latest reviews, like so. And then inside of that section, let me extend this all the way down. Maybe we can have a nice big image like so of the hotel in question. Then right here the same pricing section. Below that we can have 5-star rating, for example, and here it's going to be the image. Let me include it right here as well. So it's going to be the image, then below that we can include the name, so hotel name. It's going to be location, and then we're going to include a paragraph of text right here below. Then more reviews button, like so, just so that user can load more reviews and they can check out more reviews either of that particular hotel or of the hotels in that area. For example, let's say London, UK, maybe hotels in London, and then they can check out the reviews in that hotel, depending of what they included right here in these settings up at the top. Below that, we are going to just have one CTA, so let's call it, I don't know, maybe something like receive offers, then some text, and below that a simple form like this. Maybe we can include an email right here, and then simple send icon. And that's going to round off our screen, and that's basically our home screen. Then from the home screen, we are going to include one additional screen where users can click, for example, this hotel, and then they can jump to that screen. So let's now start creating that screen as well. So let me quickly draw a nice big rectangle like so. This is going to include the back icon, because we are going to want to come back to home from this screen. It's going to include avatar right here. Then here we are going to have a nice big image like so. It's basically going to be this image right here. So we're going to have the price at the top, so let's say 150 a night, and then we're going to have the rating, so let's say 5-star. This is our image, and then below that maybe we can include 4 different images. Let's say that user wants to explore the room, and they want to see what's inside of that room, how the room looks like, what's the view outside of that room, so they can include that there. Then below that we can have a hotel name and location, and then below that maybe we can include some facilities, for example, what is included inside of that room. So perhaps maybe how many beds are inside, maybe they want to see the wireless, maybe they want to see does it have the communal shower or separate shower, and perhaps even does it have an air conditioning, because maybe this hotel is in the area where it gets too hot sometimes. Below that we're going to have about hotel section like so, and then we're going to have just a basic article style about the hotel. Below that paragraph we're going to have a central big book now button, and you can include this button in your code to follow this scroll. So whenever user scrolls or they get to a certain point of this screen, then this book now button can show up, because that's the main button that needs to show up on this screen, because this button takes them to the payment screen. Below that we're going to basically have just this section, so receive offers, let's say, and then below that we're going to have email newsletter like so, like that, and then we're going to have this same button, and maybe we can include some color in this button, just this basic base section, and then maybe icon can be white or transparent or something like that. So basically that's it. You can just imagine that by tapping here on this card, it's going to take you to this screen, and then on this screen you can learn more about the hotel, about the facilities of the hotel, maybe about how many rooms it has, maybe about what type of rooms do they offer, something like that. So you can make your choice there, or simply tap right here, go back to home and explore future hotels. Let me know if you like this style of wireframes and if you want me to include them in my future videos, because I really want to include as much value for you guys as possible. So if you like this sort of videos, let me know, and I will include them in the future videos as well. Now let's jump inside Adobe Xd, and I will show you how you can create this design, add some splash of color and make it pop, as clients like to say. Alright, so let's get started with our design, and here is the file you are going to get, and you can download it by clicking the link in the description, and you can download and open this file as a practice file, and you can use it for personal or commercial use. Without this wireframe, of course, because this is my wireframe, I would really like that you include your wireframe inside and then draw from your own wireframe and at least change this design a little bit to make it personalized and to make it yours, or you can follow this entire tutorial step by step and have exactly the same results as I am. So here is our wireframe. this is how we draw it. And if you don't have a scanner, it's fine. You can snap a picture with your phone and simply upload that picture, drag and drop it inside of Adobe Xd, and that's it. And right here on the assets panel, we have all of the colors that we're going to use in our design. We have different character styles. Open Sans is the free font we're going to use, and I will link it down in the description. It's a Google font. And here are all the icons which we're going to use. They are called Pick Icons Tin. They are premium icon pack, and I will leave the link to it in the description if you want to purchase it. But if not, here is how they look like. So you can see there are plenty of different icons, fully editable, of course, in a variety of different categories, and you can simply select these icons, drag and drop them inside, and then edit them at will, and you can edit both shape and the stroke. So those are the icons, and I simply selected some of the icons which I'm going to use inside of our project, and here they are there. Now for the artboard color, as you can see, it's not completely white, is F6, 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 which is a sort of a really light gray, because we want to make the white stand out a little bit from our background. So now let's get started, and I will simply draw a rectangle right here, because I want to include my menu icon inside, and let me find it. I will drag and drop it right here. Now for that rectangle, let's use the size of 30 by 30, like so. I will have the corner radius at 5. We will not have the border included, but we will have a shadow, and for the shadow, let's have something like 5, 5, and 20, and jump inside and simply lower the opacity of it to 10, and that's looking nice. I'll simply drag and drop my icon inside until it's in the middle, and I will simply duplicate it and move it all the way to here. I will jump into my layers panel and call this one avatar, because that's going to be our avatar. And I'm going to call this one menu BG, let's say, because it's going to contain it's going to be a background for our menu icon. I'll select both of them, hit Ctrl or Command G to group them, call it menu icon, just to know what it is. This is going to be our avatar. Now we're going to position them 50 pixels from the top, so shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with your bottom arrow, and I will have them both 20 pixels from each side, so like this. Now for the image, I'm going to use all images from unsplash.com, and I will leave the link down in the description. Those are free images, of course, and you can use them however you want. I'll simply drag and drop one image inside, and here is how that looks like. So that's going to basically be our avatar of our user. Now below that, we're going to type in some text. So I'll simply type in hello John, for example, like so. And below that, let's see, let's find you a hotel today, like so. Because if I jump back to my wireframe, you can see that we have a title and a subtitle, which basically forces the user to use this search bar and welcomes it basically. So I will jump right here. Now for this one, we'll use the H1. For this, we'll use the H2, and simply click and it will apply that character style to your characters. So let's position them a little bit better. I'll select both of them, place them right here. Now for this first one, let's use something like 30, like so. And for this next one, let's use something like 20, like so. And below that, we will have our search bar. Now for the search bar, let's quickly draw a rectangle. So I will go with something like this. Make sure it's 335 in width, and for the height, let's use something like 50. And for the corner radius, let's use something like 10. We will not have the border, we will have the shadow. For the shadow, we are going to use the same shadow, so 5, 5, 20. Press enter, and that's basically our search bar. Now let's position it 30, so same like here, and we're going to have basically the same spacings throughout our design. Let's quickly drag and drop our search icon inside. Make sure that's in the center like so. And I will position it, for example, 20 pixels from this side. Let's now add some text. So I will type right here, and I will type search hotels, like so. I'll make sure it's at 16, and I will use this color for it to correspond with the color of my icon. I'll jump back into my layers panel, and I will select all three using my shift key, move them all down, and I will make sure that they are in the center, like so. They are, and I'll simply move this 10 pixels to the right, like so. And that's basically our search hotels. I'll call this field BG, or you can use a search BG or whatever you want. Now next I want to include a settings icon right here, so I'll jump right here. Here it is. I'll simply drag and drop it inside. You cannot see it at the moment, but we are going to duplicate this field BG, hit Ctrl D, and I will remove the shadow for it. I'll jump right here and use this color. Now for the dimensions, let's use something like, let's see, 60 with 50, and I will simply snap it right here to this side, and I'll position this icon right here in the center of it. Make sure it's in the center, like so it is. So let's jump right here, and we'll call this send BG or settings BG, like so. And I'll group these two, call it settings, because as I said, user can jump right here and change these settings however they want, and they can include, for example, how many rooms they want, how many beds inside of those rooms, because for hotel booking you don't want just a hotel, you want a room that fits you and your family, how many nights you want to stay, and so on and so forth. And that maybe we can include in a future video. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see such a thing. Now let's group this. I'll select everything, hit Ctrl or Command G to group it, and call this search. And I will hit Ctrl K or Command K to create a component from this, because I want to create this component for later use, because basically you can use this as a master component, and you can see that this diamond is completely filled right here. But if the diamond is empty, that means that is a child component from this master component, and you can use it basically in any other screen that you want, because as you probably know, a lot of these apps can expand and have multiple screens, for example 50 screens, 100 screens, and so on. So that's basically why these components are really useful. Now below that we're going to have a text, so we can maybe copy this text. Let's see, hit Ctrl D, I'll position it right around here, make it at 30, position it here, and we'll say something like recommended hotels. And for both of these I'm going to use a darker color, so this one, and this one is going to stay exactly the same color as it is. So let's now start creating these cards below, and let's start by creating our image. So I will jump right here and draw a nice big image with a cone radius of 10. I'll remove my border, and for the dimensions let's use something like 180 with 160. That will work quite well. And in order for you to see it, I will include one image inside, so simply drag and drop your image. If you don't like the position, you can double click inside and reorganize that image however you want. You can double click and also click in one of the corners, hit Shift and Alt for example, and then expand that image in size, increase the size however you want, or you can leave it standard, however Adobe Xd thinks works best. Now let's move on. I will need two texts right below, so I will jump inside and copy this text, for example, position it somewhere around here, let's say. Now this is going to be our hotel name, so let's call it Two Sunsets Hotel, and it's going to be 16. Hit Ctrl D one more time. We need a location, so this can be Honolulu, US, for example, a really nice location, and for it we're going to use this H3. Now let's organize these a little bit better. So from the image, let's position it 20, like so, and from right here below let's use something like 10. That works well. And for the name of the hotel, let's use darker color just to differentiate these two a little bit. Now what we need right here is we need a price and we need a rating. So let's jump right here. This is called a hotel 1, but I'm going to rename it image, or let's leave it at hotel 1 because that's the name of the image I used, and you can use that technique just to know which one it is, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to extract those assets and for developers to use them later. So now let's start with our price, and for the price we need a price BG. I'm going to draw one right around here. I'm going to remove the border. For the color we are going to use this color. And we are going to jump right here and we are going to use 10 here. And we are going to use, let's see, 10 here. So you can see I rounded these two and these two are flat. And for the dimensions, let's use something like 90 with 35. And I will jump right here, position it to the top, hit shift, and 10 pixels is enough. I'll hit my T and type in something like 150 a day. Make sure that it's white. So I can have it here, and I can also add a white color because we are going to use it a lot. Something like this. So this is going to be price BG and this is going to be our price. So you can simply add it and call it price. Next, we need to create a rating. So for the rating, once again, I'm going to use my shape tool and let's call it rating BG. I'll jump right here and apply that same color. Now for it, we can use a corner radius of 10 without the border, and for the size, let's use something like 40 with 35. That works well. We're going to do the same thing, so 10 and 10 using your shift and your arrow keys. Now inside we need a number, so I can add a number 5, for example. I can position it right around here, and we need that star. So we can locate a star. Here it is. Simply drag and drop it inside. Make sure it's in the middle right here. And let's give it a 10, for example, or 5. Like that, and make sure that they are both in the middle. So you can do this, and if you don't like how 5 is located, you can nudge it one up. Make sure that this is in the center like so. Now we have our rating. Let's call it rating. Let me quickly check. I didn't include the rating BG, but I can include it now. Simply drag and drop it inside. There we have it. We have our rating. You can create components for these two, but I'm not really going to do that. I can simply select and copy these two and paste them around. So let's now group everything. So we have sunsets and Honolulu. Let's position it right here. I'll group all of this. Let's hit Ctrl G, call it Hotel 1, like so. And I can now simply duplicate these at will. So I can hit Ctrl D, position this right here. I'll have it be at 20. This is going to be hotel number 2, like so. And I'll leave this standard, and for this, let's use something like Marble Queen. Location is going to be the same, and for the image, I'm going to use another image. Simply drag and drop it inside. I can double click and reposition this image however I want. That's basically it for our hotels. So as you can see, if you hold your Alt key, we are at 40, but we need to be at 30. So I can simply reposition it to be like so. And you can see that this is at 30 as well. And now we can move on and start with popular hotels. So I can select this, hit Ctrl D, move it down below at 30, for example, and this is going to write in popular. And instead of recreating these, I can simply hit Ctrl D, duplicate them, move them down, hold my Shift key, make sure that they are at 30, so same like all these other ones. And for here, let's use different text. Let's use something like Grand Ocean view, and you can use different locations if you want, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's use same location. So this is going to be cabin minimal, like so. 5-star rating. You can use, as I said, different rating if you want. Quickly drag and drop these images inside. Once again, I pre-prepared these images, of course, but you can use your own images, and you can, as I said, double click inside on any of these and reorganize them at will. I'll have them be something like this. Let's rename this Hotel 3. This is going to be Hotel 4. And let's now move on to the latest reviews. So hit Ctrl D, position it right here, because if you remember, we have these two sections which are basically the same. Then we have latest reviews, and basically we are going to have the same section but a little bit wider, and below that we are going to have a nice big paragraph. So let's now create that. So you're going to have latest reviews, like so. And before we move on any further, let's quickly see what we have right here so we can organize these things a little bit better. So we have menu and avatar. I'm going to move them at the top. Below that we have Hello John, this, and the search, like so. Below that we have recommended hotels, below search. Then we have Hotel 1 and 2. We have popular hotels, then 3 and 4. And latest reviews, and now we're going to have another image right here. So let's quickly select this, let's say Hotel 3, position it to be at 30, and I will simply change the dimensions of these images. So let's jump inside. I will call this Hotel 5, like so. I'll jump inside here, and I will give this a width of 335. Like so. Then I'll include the image which needs to be there, like so. Then I'll simply move these right here, and that's basically it. As I said, you can create components from all of these cards, and then you can simply adjust them at will, but I found it not to be really necessary, and I can do this the other way. I'll reposition this image just a little bit down, and that's basically it. We can rename this, and let's give it a nice fancy name. So I can give it a nice fancy name like so. And what we need right here is a paragraph. So let's give it 1. I'll simply go right here with my type tool, make sure that this is in the middle, and I'll simply paste some text inside. I will use this color, let's see, like so. And for the size, let's go with this, so H3. So I'll click outside, then here, H3. Close it right around here at the end. And that's basically it. Only thing left for us to do is position it here, so at 20. And now let's move on. I'm going to create a button right here, which is going to write more reviews, as you can see right here. So if the person wants to load more reviews to read, they can do that as well. So I will jump inside here and create my button, but before I do, I'll simply position this here because it belongs here, like so. And now let's create that button. So for our button, we're going to use the rectangle tool once again. Make sure that we are at 335 with 50, and let's see, we can include corner radius of 10. We can give it this color, and we can remove the border, we can use the shadow, so 520, and let's add some spice to it. Instead of this color for the shadow, maybe we can use this. Maybe we can give it some darker tint, for example, and simply lower the opacity down to something like 50% or something like that. I think that works well. Let's give it 50. Yeah, that looks nice. This is going to be our button, so BT and BG, like so. Reposition it down. Let's give it a text and write in more reviews. Let's go from the center, and for the size, let's give it H2, with white color applied to it. And I'm simply going to group these two together, btn, like so, and make sure that the text is in the center like this. I'll hit Control K because I will need that button more, and I will position this to be at 30 from this text like so. Next up, we need a text which is going to write more reviews or receive offers, sorry. So I'll duplicate this text, position it right around here below the button, and it's going to write in receive offers because that's going to be our promo section right here. I'll extend this just a little bit just so that we can have a little bit more space, and I will simply type in a text like so. Make sure that this is 14, it's in the middle, it is like so. Make sure it's at 20 like this, and now we need that field right here so they can enter their email inside so that you can collect that email. But if we jump right here, sorry, you can see that that field looks basically exactly the same as the search field, except for the search and the search icon will have the email and the email icon. So let's do that. We can jump right here because we created our search as a component. We can drag and drop it inside, position it in the center, make sure it's at 30, and once again shift 1, 2, 3 just so that I can know where I can cut my artboard. So I can zoom in all the way nice and close to here, 30. And instead of search hotels, and as I explained previously, you can see that now this diamond is empty because this is the instance of a component. But you can always do this. You can position it here, right click, ungroup component, then hit Control G to group it back as a normal folder. We're going to call this email, for example, or you can give it some other name like email newsletter or something like that, but let's just call it email and keep things simple. Here, your email. Instead of this search icon, let's find an email icon, drag and simply position it here. It will retain the same spacing. So if I click right here, hit Alt, you can see it's keeping the same spacing, but just hit Shift and right arrow to position it 10 pixels from here. Now we can jump and do the same thing here. Instead of settings, we are going to write in send. Instead of settings icon, we are going to include send icons. Drag and drop it and replace this like so. And to make sure it's in the middle, I'll select both of them like so. This is going to be send BG instead of settings BG. And that's basically our email field. Hit Control K to create a component because we're going to need it in the second screen as well. And that's how easy it is to create this. You can see how quickly it was, just a little bit more than 20 minutes, and we now created this screen. Now for a second screen, what we want is when user clicks on one of these, so let's say it's this one, it's going to take them to this screen. But before we move on, maybe we can group these. Or let's leave it like so, and then we can go back at the end and group everything which needs to be grouped. Now to get started with our hotel details, I'll just make sure that we have the same color of the artboard. We do. I'll select these two, hit Control C, click right here, Control V, and it's going to paste them in exactly the same position. Now what we need right here is this one, so hit Control C, Control V right here, and I'll make sure that it's at 30 like so, and I'm going to basically do exactly the same thing like I did right here. So perhaps I could even do that. No, let's create it one more time. So I'll jump inside hotel 1, I'll give it 335 for the width, and I'll reposition these two, make sure that they are there. And now simply increase the size of my image to fill my entire frame, and maybe I can even reposition to something like this. I like how that looks like. And here I'm going to actually move these two even more down, like so. And inside I need to add some additional images. And to do that, I can simply use my rectangle tool. Make sure that they are 60 by 60. We are giving it a 10 for the corner radius. And let's position it right here. Let's position it 20 pixels from here. So from this image, but let's include it inside. We'll place it right around here. So Shift 1, 2. And I'll have to create additional ones. So let's give it image 1. And we need to make duplicates because we need to create 4 of them. So Control D, sorry. Somewhere around 32, I think it will work well. Control D and position it right here. That's basically it. This is going to be our image 4. Right here. This is going to be our image 3. And this is image 1. This is image 2. And now I will simply drag and drop those images in. So this is the image of our room. This is another one. This is another one. And finally, this is the last one. Now I will select all of them by holding my Shift key, remove the border because I don't need it. And now we can focus on the details, so you can double click inside and reorganize these just a little bit to focus on the things that you want. As you can see, bathtub is right here, so it's up to you if you want to position the bathtub here or if you want to leave it here in the center like XD suggested. I can maybe reposition this to right around here just so that we can see a kitchen a little bit better. And the idea is that they can tap on any of these images and it will replace it with this image. Let me know if you want to see some of those additional techniques shown to you, and I will make a tutorial and expand forward from this tutorial, and maybe we can add all of those effects. Let me group these, call them images, like so, just so that we can keep things nice and organized. Let's now position this text, be at 20, and that's basically it for our hotel. Now below that we need some icons, so let's do exactly the same like we did right here. I can simply copy these, but I don't want to do that at the moment because they contain the image and we want to include some additional features. So let's go with 10 and let's go with this color, no border, like so. Let's make sure that they are left aligned properly here. And maybe I can move them 20 pixels down, so like this. Hit Control D to position it to 32. Control D one more time, Control D. That's basically it. And now I'm going to call these BG because they are going to simply contain our icons inside. I'll organize them a little bit better. So this is the last one, this is the first one. I will reorganize these two, move all of this down. Avatar and menu will go above hotel, and I really like to organize my layers because it's easier for me to work later. Now here we need to include these icons. So first one is bed. I'll make sure that's in the center like so. Next one is Wi-Fi. So locate the Wi-Fi icon, here it is, and position it to be in the center like so and like so. Next one is the shower. Make sure that's in the center on both sides like so. And you can also nudge it left and right until you find the center, and you can do this for all of your icons like so. And final one is the air conditioning, because in majority of these places, especially when you're traveling abroad somewhere where it's quite warm, you really want to have that air conditioning inside of your room so you can chill out when you get back from the beach. Now that we've done that, I can select all of these, move them down, and I can reorganize them just a little bit better. So I can position these, I can deselect this using my control key, but position it just above. let's see, something is not right here. Bed icon should go above everything. Then Wi-Fi should go below where it is. Then shower should go right here, and finally aircon should go right here. There we have it. Now we can call these features. Hit Ctrl G, call them features, and that's basically it. Now we have a title. Hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, position it right here, make sure it's at 30, like so. And I will simply double click right here, hit Ctrl C for this paragraph, Ctrl V, make sure it's at 20, like so. And here we are going to write about the hotel, because if I jump back to my wireframe, you can see that we have about hotel, and basically in that section users can see everything about the hotel. So basically when it was founded, do they have a parking lot, do they have a, for example, inside pool or outside pool, or all of those features they can read right here. Now below that we're going to have our call to action button, so we can simply grab it from here, locate our BTN, here it is, drag and drop it inside, make sure it's in the center, and make sure it's 30 pixels down. So that's basically it. All we need right here is basically this same section. So I can hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V, make sure it's at 30, and finally I need this email. I'll simply drag and drop it inside this one, position it here, 30, and as you can see we have 28, but I can extend it to 2 more pixels, but that really does not matter all that much. So as you can see, we have now completed our design, and I hope you understand how easy it is to use Adobe Xd's components, how useful they are, especially if you have repeating screens like we do right here. And I really hope you understood how easy it is to organize all of these things using components, using colors, using your icons, especially the icons you're going to use a lot. This can really help you, especially if you have a tab bar right here, or if you have a nav bar which is repeating itself all of the time. So having components included in your design can really help you reduce your time dramatically and really improve your speed a lot. One final thing I want to do right here before we go is I want to organize things a little bit. So email is going to go all the way down. These two are going to go just above email. Then we have a BTN, which is going to go here. We have a text, which is going to go about BTN, like so. We have features, hotel, avatar, and menu. And let's jump right here. As you can see, we need to do the same thing here. So just above email, we have a button, hotel, latest reviews. And finally, you can group these if you want. So you can select these 3, for example, hit Ctrl G and call them recommended hotels, just so that you can have a smaller number of groups right here and folders if you want to, or if you don't, you can simply leave them like this if you need to copy them later. And once again, thank you for watching. If you want to use this file, I will leave the link down in the description, and you can simply download it and follow along with this tutorial. And you can create exactly the same design like I did, or I really encourage you to at least change the images and maybe change the main color. And you can do that by simply jumping right here, right clicking, edit, and then you can change color, and you can see that it updates automatically. And that's the magic of these assets, because they can really reduce the time that you spend inside of your design and really improve your speed overall. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you got some value out of it. If you did, make sure to press that like button. I upload new videos every single week on design, passive income techniques, motivation, and more. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.